Merhaba Kerem abi.
Merhaba,
Hoş geldin.
hoş bulduk.
Çok mutlu oldum sen buradayız.
Ben de çok mutlu oldum. Sizinle birlikte
Um,
olduğum için teşekkür ederim.
Çok teşekkür ederim. So just for our audience, let's switch it up and change it back to English. Just for our audience today, just give us a little introduction about who you are and what you do and why you're here at Seamless.
Yes, thank you. So, this is Kerem Emre Akarlar, and I've been in the business for almost 22 years, mainly in the agencies. I started my career in a media agency, local media agency, and then I moved to Dentsu. I worked there like 12 years. Then I worked in startups for another 7 to 8 years in gaming and esports ecosystem. I can say that I experienced every kind and every size of, let's say, agencies, but mainly in marketing ecosystem. And then 4 years ago, we moved to Dubai, and I worked in ITP Media as a commercial director. But I was dealing with the content, influencer marketing, mainly online side of the business and performance marketing and events, etc. More experiential, more digital side of the business. And then this amazing opportunity rised up, and I moved to One Ingage in last December as their managing director UAE.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. My responsibility is not limited with UAE, of course. I'm responsible for the regional expansion. So we also ask about One Ingage. And One Ingage is a marketing and tech solutions company from Turkey, Istanbul. And we are here in Seamless because Seamless is a great platform. It's one of the biggest events in terms of e-commerce and fintech. And e-commerce is one of the verticals that we operate on. But let me go back just one step. As I said, One Ingage is a marketing and tech solutions company, and which is part of Koç Holdings. If you follow Turkey, and if you follow global economy, probably you heard Koç Holdings, which is a
I'm aware of them, yeah.
Fortune 500 company. It's the biggest private group in Turkey.
Yep.
So we are a subsidiary of Koç Holdings. And we are working with all the Koç Holding brands, of course, in Turkey and also in globally. But also we have so many clients outside of the organization. So you can think like 45 to 55%.
Yeah.
So Koç Holding portfolio is just 45% of the business, but other 55% is outside of the organization, which is really good. And we are expanding here, as I said, and we operate on 3 main verticals. One of them is media, the other one is creative, and the third one is data and technology.
Yeah.
So e-commerce is let's say it takes a big portion under the data and technology business. So we have a e-commerce team. They're expert of like end-to-end e-commerce solutions. Like it can be either catalogs or marketplace optimization, A/B testing. So you name it, basically you have it. So so this is us in general.
Oh, thank you for the introduction.
I said in general, but I talk a lot. I know.
So let me there's a lot of what you've said I want to touch on.
Yeah.
So you first, you moved here 4 years ago from Istanbul to Dubai with ITP. Why the move from Istanbul? That's the first question. Why the move from Istanbul to Dubai?
Okay, so I didn't move with ITP. I was working in another agency, actually. It was startup. I was a managing director and a shareholder.
Yeah.
And we did an exit. So our startup acquired by Nazara Holdings, which is the only listed gaming company in India. And this is how we came to Dubai. But it's not the only reason. Before, of course, me and my family, we discussed why we should move or should we stay in Turkey. Yeah, it's a big decision because I was 40 because my whole life I lived in Turkey. I love my city, Istanbul. It's an amazing city for me still.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful city, maybe the most beautiful city on earth.
Yeah.
But now I call Dubai as my home. And proudly being in here, being in UAE and Dubai, it's great. Because the decision was like logical, I would say. Because when we think about the global situation, the economy, when you look at the all other, indicators, let's say, like the growth numbers, year-on-year growth on economy, in digital marketing, in digital commerce, the business environment, when you look at the numbers globally, you will see that the whole MENA region is, let's say a rising star.
Yes.
Right?
It's growing tremendously.
Yes, exactly. And I would say in this environment, I think we can mention UAE as a leader.
Yeah.
Of course, along with KSA. Of course, other GCC countries are, all of them are very important.
The hub being the UAE, the hub.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, you know, the UAE's environment, like it's very welcoming for families, for new businesses, for literally
Absolutely.
everyone. And it's an amazing country. We all know that. The whole environment, the country's vision is also amazing. So One Ingage, when we think about the expansion, before they hired me, of course, they worked on some very serious strategies. They evaluated different parts of the world, and also I also worked on my own strategies. You know, how we should launch the company, etc. And again, all the data, and in addition to data, like our experience, etc., all pointed out UAE and Dubai is the right place on the world right now to expand your business and start your expansion plans. It's an amazing market. So, yeah.
Very good. So I think the second question is, so you were at ITP. What were your responsibilities at ITP? What were you doing there? And then how did this opportunity came about with One Ingage? And then I want to go into more about One Ingage.
Okay. In ITP, I was working under ITP. There was like a business unit. One of the biggest business units is ITP Live. ITP Live is mainly, you can think that everything except media. Media is another thing. ITP is the biggest media group in here. So ITP Live, everything, as I said, outside of media, like influencer marketing, content, events, and performance marketing, digital marketing. Let's call it as an agency.
Yeah.
But since it's part of ITP, we were not calling as a full agency, but agency.
Yeah.
That in terms of services and everything. So I was a commercial director there. I was leading the all the sales efforts. But if you check my background, you will see that I'm not a sales guy. Of course, sales and business development has been part of my journey in agencies. When you're managing an agency, especially in startups, you have to do everything. But in ITP, I can say that I learned the commercial, because ITP was a great school, but a tough one, of course. It was because high expectations. It's a performance-driven, company. But I learned a lot about the region, about UAE, about KSA, about the whole region, and how media works, and how sales works, and it was very helpful,
It was a good experience to lean you into One Ingage afterwards.
Yes, exactly. It was, let's say, like it prepared me for my next role. This is why I always appreciate my time in ITP and my colleagues over there. As I said, it was a great company. It was an amazing experience for me. I learned a lot. And I think this is kind of message I know, but there is no end in learning, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter if you're 40, if you're 20 years experience, no, you can always learn new things. And I am a Turkish guy. So, of course, I know One Ingage from Turkey. It was a great agency in terms of, their culture, way of working. And I had some friends over there. I've been following them for quite some times. And one day they reached out to me and they talk about I was not the obvious choice because when you think about the current UAE and Dubai, let's say, social environment, you can see many great Turkish managers, many experienced people, etc. So was not the obvious choice maybe, but they reached out to me and they said, "Hi Kerem, we want to discuss you." It started as how should I say, like a casual conversation, not like a serious interview. And then when I heard about the vision, and especially our CEO Pınar, and she shared her vision with me. And then I met, other managers and C-levels. Now they're my colleagues, of course. And I heard the vision. I saw the excitement and, ambitions and the plan, etc. I thought
and the growth opportunity as well.
Yes, of course, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. There is an agency, one of the biggest, maybe the biggest independent agency in Turkey, backed by Fortune 500 company, of course. And it grew the client network outside of the organization. Now they decided to become a regional first and a global agency. This is once in a lifetime opportunity. And I'm a Turkish guy who lives in Dubai, has a more than 21, 22
A
years
wealth of experience.
Exactly.
You're perfect for the job. Perfect for the assignment.
Thanks for saying that. But I thought same, yeah.
No, say it. It's good. Say it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And then also, like I want to stay connected with my country, of course. Like, and also I'm an emotional guy. I'm not gonna ignore this because.
Like every Turkish person.
Yes, like every Turkish person, and also I think it's an advantage in our business. Marketing. It's all about yes, like you need to, especially we are doing a data-driven job. You need to know how to use data. You need to how to increase performance for your own business and for your clients, of course. But also we are doing something very emotional. Like being emotionally intelligent is very important, especially nowadays. We all talk about data, AI, new technologies, etc. But the most successful most successful companies are still connected to their clients. You know what I mean? Like they are human-centric. They still think the genuine human connection is the ultimate advantage. So from this perspective, being an emotionally intelligent, I will say that. So it's kind of an advantage, And I wanted to stay, as I said, connected to my country. And when I think about it, again, it's an amazing opportunity because I have a daughter, and also I want her
to show a true example
of course, like stay connected to Turkey and our family and our values. And as I said, like from a business perspective, from a personal perspective.
It was the right fit, yeah,
exactly.
That's great. So back to ITP as well. So you're also a publisher expert. So what do you think of podcast advertising? What are your thoughts on podcast advertising?
Thanks for this question because I was thinking about. I told you, like personally, it's been ages maybe my last podcast. It was in Turkey. It was always a great opportunity, having a genuine conversation like this. And when you think about the podcast. I will say it's an amazing media in terms of how you consume it because listening the conversation while you are cooking, while you are
commuting,
jogging,
exercising,
exercising. So you can consume it everywhere. So it's an amazing source of learning. It's an amazing platform to share experiences, especially like this because for other media channels, of course, like. And also podcast is also very important because they manage the conversation. And if you know the podcaster and the platform, you know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? Like, this is why you follow the podcast. You will know that you will get
the
what
topic to expect, the genre.
Exactly.
And you resonate with that.
It's more personalized. This is very important. And nowadays, we always talk about that. It's all about connection, right? And from the brand perspective, if you want to create a genuine connection, then you need to invest in relationship. If you are investing in relationship, you should start talking about yourself. You should introduce yourself. I'm not talking about this platform, of course, but if I'm introducing myself, like if you want to do business together, if you want to sell my product, then I should earn your trust. You should know me. And I think this podcast is all know about creating deeper connections, understanding brands and, And I think branded podcast, if you do it right, it's amazing. You can give more information. You can start from general and you can tie this smoothly to your brand. This is one thing. And the second of all, publishing a podcast is amazing. There are so many platforms and you don't have to, like for other media channels, maybe you need to change the format. You need to adapt it, before you publish it. You will spend
just audio.
time. No, it's just audio, yeah.
It's just the voice.
It can be on
script.
Apple, it can be on Spotify, it can be on YouTube, I said the Turkish expression, sorry. It will be very fast and on different platforms, which brings you the reach and engagement on different platforms. Mm-hmm. So it will be available on multiple platforms, maybe 10 of them, I don't know, immediately. This is also very good.
Yeah.
So this is why I really care about podcasts. And unfortunately, I'm not how should I say? I don't know, but I usually move between the channels and content, etc. Because I need to learn different things. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I had a time to spend like listening the same podcast and 100 episodes, but I usually split between the podcast and trying to manage my time. Let's say I follow them on a topic basis. Now we are talking about agentic AI. I search for agentic AI and try to listen different podcasts and different YouTube channels, etc. Let's say, This is how I consume, by the way. I
And the way you consume as well, you said you want to learn about these topics,
Yes.
and you're very focused.
Yeah.
So your user experience is so different comparing it to, let's say, for example, if you're scrolling on your phone, you're learning things on YouTube, or comparing it to, let's say, on Instagram or Facebook or whatever the platform you're utilizing. When you're listening to podcasts, you're much more focused. It's a much more intimate experience.
Yep.
And, you're kind of blocking the rest of the world outside because you're
Yeah.
in that learning zone. And that's why podcast advertising works really well. You
Yeah.
have that 100% listen, that 100% share of ear. It's not intrusive, it's not cluttered, and that's why it performs so well as well.
Exactly. This is why I said like a branded podcast is one thing. It's a long journey for brands. Like if
Yeah.
you are investing in, you should have a clear strategy, but you will definitely get the results. As I said, like the stronger connection and reach will come along with that. And also, like sponsoring it, or the integrations, maybe product integrations, etc. I mean, it's a like a mix of, as you said, voice. Like it's mix like a. Oh my God, I'm gonna reveal my again age, but back in my time, radio was really important. I would say like a radio advertising.
There's still advertisers that are utilizing radio.
It's like a combination of radio, like a visual content, like maybe TV, and also like digital. It's an amazing mix. So you can utilize it differently, and you can also take clips and you can use it for performance marketing or different channels.
Yeah.
So.
And also one of the misconceptions that people think about when it comes to podcast advertising, they think, oh, it's always upper funnel, it's always for reach and frequency, it's also for reach and awareness. But actually, technology has evolved so much that we can now track conversions, we can now track traffic, we can now track clicks, and it's also performance based that you can track when it comes to audio and podcast advertising, and that technology is available.
Yes.
In this generation.
Exactly. But maybe I think I'm talking about this a lot nowadays. Like this is why I started from the upper funnel because I always warn, especially new clients if they are entering this market. In our market in MENA region, like having this strong connection and engagement is very important. Like start selling, you know what I mean? Like this is why I said podcast is very important, because you can create deeper connections starting from the upper funnel and, as you mentioned, to the lower funnel. Because especially in our region, I'm going to repeat this, and creating awareness, creating a deeper connection is very important, because I would say here is the target audience. MENA consumer is let's say emotional. Again, I will use that word. They're highly emotional. Like when they create a connection between the brand, they usually stick, but they have high expectations. They want to learn more about it, and they want to share their expertise, etc. So this is why awareness is also important, but also it's performance-driven market. That I was just checking the numbers. The expectation is that probably the e-commerce will hit $50 billion before the 2029 in the region. And UAE and KSA is leading it. When you look at the whole MENA region, the growth number is like year-on-year growth is around 11% or 11.7% or something like that, which is amazing. When we talk about growth numbers, especially think about the major economies, it's usually couple of let's say one-digit growth numbers, but in our region we are growing like double digits, which is amazing. So
and that's a great benefit for One Ingage, right?
Yes, this is why we are here. As I mentioned, like when you look at the numbers, the growth numbers in terms of e-commerce or advertising, because as I said, e-commerce is only one thing we do, but we also do so many things in media, in creative space, and in let's say in overall in marketing. So we are trying to become a one-stop shop for our clients in Turkey and also in here. But every journey starts with a single step. So this is the first step, being in here, launching in here, being in Seamless, and we will take many more steps. I hope it's going to be a long and amazing journey for us,
journey, yes,
for all stakeholders and for our clients.
Yeah, well, I have no doubt that you're going to do amazing. You're going to grow
Thank you.
tremendously. I'll be watching your journey as well
Thank you.
on the sidelines. But Kerem Abi, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was my pleasure.
Before I
Thank
let
you.
you go, I just want you to describe podcast in 3 words, if you can.
Podcast is, oh my God, in 3 words.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. I would say genuine, engaging, informative.
Amazing.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank
Çok
you.
teşekkür ederim. Çok memnun oldum.
Ben teşekkür ederim.
Thank you.
Sağ ol.